Born in Liberia, Moses Gilbert was just 4.5 years old when he was adopted by Ian and Carol Johnson and brought to Canada. He was only 5 when they decided to rehome him to a woman they'd found on the internet. It was October 2006. Ian Johnson packed a suitcase, put Moses in the car, and drove from Castlegar across the border to Spokane, Washington. From there, they flew to a place that Moses had never heard of before, Houston, Texas, to meet a woman he'd never seen before at an airport hotel. Her name was Ambrosia Marvin, and she'd agreed to become Moses's new mother. 8 years after that meeting, it took us months to find Ambrosia Marvin, but we eventually tracked her to California, to the tiny town of Hemet. Are you Ambrosia Marvin?
Yes, I am. Hello.
I'm Julia. Reluctant at first, she finally agreed to meet us at a hotel. She told us she was a single mother in 2006, a part-time teacher who'd already raised 2 children from adoptions gone wrong. When she thought she'd like a 3rd child, she started looking at adoption sites online.
As a single person, I didn't have the money to go to China or go to the former Soviet Union or go to Africa. And I thought, well, then maybe I could find a child on the rebound.
This
It
was
was
on the
a
internet.
Yahoo group, just a Yahoo group. There were groups for everything under the sun, people who like classic cars, people who fly airplanes, people who are interested in speaking Chinese, and there was a group for people who were looking to rehome their children after a disruption.
Do you remember what that initial post was, what it said?
5-year-old boy, adopted from Africa, families looking to rehome, situation is not working out.
She told us she and the Johnsons emailed back and forth for several months. It was clear to her the family was struggling, and given her experience, she was pretty confident she could help. And so that is how the deal to rehome Moses was eventually struck. Based on nothing more than that, no screening, no home study, no involvement by professionals or authorities of any kind, Moses and his father met Ambrosia at that airport hotel. Mary Ellen Turpel-Lafond is BC's children's advocate. The rehoming policy goes back decades, she says, designed to help families in crisis. Her concern, today it's being abused.
Rehoming is not a legal concept. Really, it is a new thing that has developed where people make private arrangements to transfer children from one caregiver to another. Those transfers happen outside the system of protection for children. So I have deep concerns about this because it might be a very fancy way, a very comforting way of saying trafficking in children.
Moses Gilbert's adoptive parents weren't trying to traffic him when they gave him to a woman in Texas. In their minds, they were just transferring custody. While the rules may be vague about that, there's one rule that's crystal clear. You can't take a child across the border with the intent of leaving him there